Welcome back, everybody. Back nine coverage of your 2019 Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship Semifinals round. I'm Kevin Jones, and I am with Chris Dickerson. Chris, how's everybody playing so far?
You know, Drew has, I think, 6 under. I think I'm at 4. Philo may be at even, and Nate's at 3. We're here in Charlotte, North Carolina at Hornets Nest.
That's right. These are some pretty solid scores, but there's 16 competitors and only 4 get to move on to the final round, the Pro Tour Championship. Nobody really knows what score is going to be necessary yet, but everybody's trying to get as many birdies as possible because it's looking like it's going to be something like 7, 8, or 9 under to move on.
Yeah, this round being the third round, the scores are going to be a lot higher. Or lower, I should say. Scores are going to be a lot lower.
A lot lower and better. That was a really solid shot from Nate. This hole is one of the more difficult and dangerous holes on the course because of this tight gap that you have to get out of. Ooh, just a great stand-up shot from Drew. So, oh my goodness, go in. He laced that shot so good. Wow. So, there's one tree in the middle of the fairway here. I come to believe that if you want to throw an overstable disc, you have to go outside of the tree.
Yep.
As you are going inside, but with a more understable disc, right?
Yep.
More glidey, kind of flippier disc. Really good shot. It pushed straight a long time, and man, having a birdie putt on this hole is awesome.
Yeah, this hole, as long as you make it through the gap, I think you're going to be happy with yourself.
I would be personally. Philo, this is he's showing us how to make this hole really long and hard. A really good effort from back there, but he's still looking at a bogey.
Yeah, I came up just a little bit short of the fairway and is still in the rough, throwing 3.
Yeah, anytime you don't make it past that middle tree in the middle of the fairway, you're going to be scrambling.
Yeah, this hole plays really tough if you don't hit the gap.
Perkins trying to drop a bomb. Ooh, so close. That's how you run a long putt, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you leave it up in the air, a little lofty, kind of slower, and hope it just falls in.
That was perfect. Man, Drew making it happen. Put him at 7 under par. He's really trying to play in that final round.
Yeah, he is. Drew and myself were joking, walking to the next hole. He was like, I think that's my second career outside the circle putt.
Oh, my goodness. He jokes like that all the time. But little does he know he's a better putter than he thinks. Great putt from you there, Chris. Was that inside or outside the circle?
Just inside the circle.
Just inside. Another really solid, long inside the circle putt for birdie. Nate Perkins will be taking a par on the hole. Played it pretty well. I would say I'd be happy with the way Nate played it, getting through the gap and having a really easy 3.
Yeah, birdie is great, but par is just fine. You're not going to be upset with par unless you get inside the circle and miss.
Well said.
Moving on to hole 11. Very short, very technical par 4. You just want to throw something straight. You can get a little more greedy with a sidearm and try and get the skip to the right. But if you piece together a little over 200-foot shots, like 250, you're going to be looking at a birdie.
Definitely. I like this hole. It bends right a lot faster than you would think. The second that you get flat and start going too far forward, you're going to be cut off and have a tough time getting your birdie. Drew, on the other hand, did not miss the trees on the inside that he needed to miss. He'll be scrambling for par, it looks like. Right. What disc is this? Is this the D2?
Yeah, that's a D2. I'm trying to get a little more greedy, throwing a higher speed disc, hoping to get a bigger skip to the right.
Yeah.
But doing so, I threw it a little too straight, and I'm in the edge of the rough.
Kind of in that area that I was talking about, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Nate Perkins just too far inside. Not by much, though. And Philo hitting the left side and going off into the left rough. That's going to be tough from there.
Yeah, hitting an early tree and taking a really bad kick to the left. following it up with another really bad kick.
It's tough to say if he would be able to get up and down from there.
And this is just a great looking shot.
Oh my goodness, he almost aired it in. So that is that AVR that you've been talking about.
Yeah.
Great shot from Drew there, just about 30 feet.
And that's Philo's pitch out. Just, he was in the rough. He didn't really have a way to get there. Pitched out to the middle.
Taking some medicine. Ooh, is this Nate's second shot?
It is.
Nice. So he actually had a pretty decent line at it and played it really well. I've never actually seen a hyzer sidearm opportunity.
Mm-hmm. The backdoor sidearm hyzer is there.
Forehand roller. What are you using as your forehand roller?
That's the 400 Glow H1.
The H1, so should hold the line for a long time. Nice shot from Philo, just trying to take some medicine and move on. Looks like it's going to be a bogey for him. And you're laying up yourself, so if you don't know out there, guys, an overstable disc, when you throw it on a forehand roller line, will hold the angle that you put it on for a lot longer than a flippy disc. As we watch Drew, wear some emotions. He was really pumped about that. Like, it is a big deal. He knows that he's got to get as many birdies as he possibly can, and he doesn't know how many, though. That's probably where the emotion comes in.
Very tricky part of this style of play. You know what everybody's doing, but you don't know what to expect someone to finish at.
Good cleanup from yourself. Do you remember which card you guys were off? Because there were 4 cards, I believe.
Yes, 4 cards. I think we were the second.
I want to say that's correct. So you've got 2 whole groups behind you that you don't know what are doing yet.
Yeah, the 2 groups behind us are players that are ranked higher in the bracket than we are.
So I guess that would lead you to assume that there's going to be some good scores come out.
That's it.
We're moving into hole 12, a par 4, 651 feet. This is the longest wooded par 4 on the course, without a doubt. Super long tunnel. Some people opt for a fairway driver. Some people throw a flick, actually, on this hole. And other people try to lay up and play mid-range to the middle.
Yeah, this is a hole you do not want to get off to the sides on.
As Drew is showing us, Drew did go for his leopard there, and the fairway driver took a gnarly kick off of a tree straight left.
And Nate going fairway driver as well, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. That same yellow one, I'm thinking Night Strike, that has been doing really well for him.
Yeah, he's thrown that disc a lot this round.
Ooh, I know this disc. That's that sweet M3. You're looking to hit it flat, I assume?
Yeah, flat to a little bit of hyzer.
And just let it work right. Little early, but no problemo. Kicking straight back to the fairway somewhat. I think you might have opportunity there.
Yeah, we will see. Philo going destroyer. Right down the middle. Just drifts a little to the right and catches the tree. Middle of the fairway.
I want to say Drew just flicked the same disc that he threw back in. It looked like that leopard trying to let it hold that Anheuser angle for him.
Philo playing the outside of the 2 gaps.
That was almost clean.
And that's the problem with the outside gap. You can push it a little too far and get into those trees on the backside.
What is this disc?
That's a D6.
Okay, yeah, I don't think we've seen that one yet.
No, I don't use it a lot. I was actually in between throwing a forehand roller or just a long turnover.
As in, like, your decision, or?
Yes.
Okay, so
well, and shot, yeah.
Okay. Good shot there. Be getting a putt from it.
And Drew's taking an unfortunate kick back into the rough. It looks like he'll just have a layup for bogey, I believe.
Maybe. He did not get near as far as I'm sure he wanted. Jump it on up there and end the hole. So, Philo, is this going to be for birdie?
Yes.
Thinking so. He played it pretty clean, unfortunately, catching a late tree on his second shot. That'll be an easy par, which is a fine score on this hole.
Hoping to give that one a little bit of a run, but as soon as it left my hand, I knew it was short.
Oh.
And I like Nate's putt. It's very spinny, stays up in the air, but if you just miss side to side, it can go a little further than most.
Yeah, it travels pretty quickly.
And as you can see, Drew's not bending over at all. He's squatting every time he picks up his disc, and that's because what we mentioned earlier, his back started bothering him on hole 6, I believe.
It's really hard to play disc golf with a hurt back, that's for sure. So Nate taking a bogey there, and that is the main thing I'm seeing right now, because Nate is the one that really needs the birdies right now if he wants to play on the next day.
Yeah, in this format, if you get a little behind, it really puts a lot, or you can put a lot of pressure on yourself, knowing I've got to pick up some more birdies, and if I don't, I'm going to have to push harder at the end of the round.
Yeah, and that's not what you want to be doing on this course, because it only gets harder as the course, as you become towards the end of the course. The holes get so much more difficult. Hole 13 is one of the more open holes on the course. Super long. It is the longest hole on the course, 819 feet, and Chris did a great job right there of keeping on the left side of the fairway in order to open up his angle to the green, and also out driving those yellow posts to just get raw distance is very important.
Yeah, this hole you want to stay out of the woods on the left, but you want to be on the left side of the fairway to approach the green. There's also some stuff on the right side of the fairway you don't want to turn into.
I'm thinking Drew threw Air Jordan there, the Destroyer with a Jordan stamp on it, because that is his bomber. He got a lot of distance out of that one.
Yeah, he outdrove those yellow posts by 60 or 70 feet.
Yeah, anything past the yellow posts is great. So Philo didn't seem to have enough room to kind of maneuver a backhand in there, so he chose the forehand, laying up to the opening of the gap and just trying to get a par.
And it looks like Nate's trying to do the same thing, except getting a little more aggressive, trying to get into the gap.
He was getting aggressive. I'm afraid that was early, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Chris throwing a putter. Is that a PA3?
That's a PA1.
PA1, nice. So holding the glide there, but hitting late. Just turned it over just the tiniest bit too much to pure the gap, I think.
Just a little too much.
Okay, so Drew is almost looking straight down the gap, and that is unreal. Wow, and then he catches a tree, parks the shot, easy birdie. Very well played by Drew.
And that's a great shot there for an approach. Throwing a straight mid-range, just on a hyzer, getting the straight skip at the end.
Yeah, definitely was. I wouldn't imagine that Philo has practiced that shot either, because we don't really plan to land where he landed.
Right. You don't go out to a course and practice from, the rough. You don't plan on being there.
Very good, but safe bid from you, Chris.
Yeah, these elevated baskets, it's hard to give, well, for at least me, it's hard to give them a run and stay really close.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Especially on my longer putts, I always seem to end up a little bit shorter more often than not.
Drew getting a little flashy there.
Yeah, he was on camera. So we've got Drew Gibson at 8 under, Nate Perkins at 3 under, Chris Dickerson at 5 under. Chris, I'm thinking you're going to need a few more birdies.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like it.
Yeah, this is tough too. Hole 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, all very hard shots. None of them are gimmies. Starting hole 14 is 419 feet. Dogleg to the left. Really unique shot. It's kind of hard to describe. I think the ideal shot is something that stands up in the fairway, kind of straightens out. But I've seen a lot of people just throw spike hyzers and also get good looks at it.
Yeah, for a right-handed backhand player, the shot is exactly what Drew threw there.
It would have to be.
You want something to stand up just a little and drift to the left. You really don't want it to fade very hard.
Just a park job. That is so impressive. You look like you're actually following him really nicely.
Yeah, just a little more inside than Drew.
What disc did you throw there?
That's an M3.
M3. Yeah, you're definitely playing some stand-up then. I like it. Philo needs flair.
He got it, but he also connected with a tree right after the flare.
That's going to be a nice little death putt for him. Quite a long distance as well.
And this is what the hole sets up for, but just a little inside.
You think that's the ideal shot for the hole?
I think it is.
I think it is too. That's just such a difficult shot for the majority of people.
It is.
But I really like that, though, that the hole is ideal for a shot that is not thrown by a whole lot of people. It's very unique.
Mm-hmm. It sets up for a very tough hole.
What is Philo doing? He almost made it, and it looked like he didn't even care. Whoa, that was so close to going in from distance.
I think that was as close as you could get without going in.
Yeah, he looked away, too. He gave it the MJ no look. That's a great birdie from you, Chris. Trying to get some confidence going into these last few holes. That's going to put you 6 under.
Yeah, and Drew patting on more birdies.
Yeah, Drew's got to be feeling great right now. He's probably thinking just par out and I'll be okay, or at least I'll be happy with myself.
Yeah, he's setting himself up for a really good chance at making the finals.
Yep, Drew 9 under, Chris Dickerson 6 under, Nate Perkins just taking a really unfortunate bogey. That's going to make things really hard for him. We'll see you right after this break.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin Jones. I'm here with my brand new Prodigy BP3 V2 backpack, and I'm loving this thing a lot. It's extremely lightweight. It's carrying all the discs I could ever ask for. It's pretty sturdy and durable. I've got my 2 putters up here, no problem. Room for a towel if need be. It's really lightweight, it's extremely efficient, and for all you, it's extremely affordable, so come check it out.
Hole 15, what do they call on this one, Chris?
This is the gauntlet hole just because of how tight this fairway is.
It makes total sense too.
Yeah, this is a very, very tight fairway, and there's a Mando left because there's an opening. Players could not easily pitch out, but have a better chance at pitching out to the open just to take an easy par.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not wanting you to do that. They're wanting you to throw down this tunnel, as Drew just showed us. What a great shot. I imagine that's a rock from him.
Yes.
He only carries like 5 of them.
Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping to follow a very similar line to what Drew threw.
What is the blue disc here?
It's a 400G M3. So it's a little more understable version of the M3.
Oh, nice. How many M3s do you carry?
I think I have 4 of them in there.
So really versatile disc.
Yeah, so about as many rocks as Drew has.
I couldn't complain with that one from Philo. Anything through the gap is good with me.
Yeah, you just take whatever disc you feel comfortable with and hit that gap. Drew and myself going mid-range. I think Nate went fairway here and Philo went destroyer.
It's got to be that night strike again. This is a really common spot to end up on this hole, right around circle's edge, a little bit short. He's unable to capitalize there.
Yeah, players just really don't want to blast one through that gap. They're more focused on just hitting the gap, so more times you'll come up short than not.
That's a great birdie right there from you, Chris. That looks like 2 in a row, and 2 tough ones at that. Nice putt from Philo. Philo is a really, really good putter. So smooth. You can pretty much count on him to make it anytime he's within 45 feet.
Yeah, I've noticed that round I played with him, he has a very smooth putt.
Okay, so Drew not wanting to hit double digits, I'm thinking, because I'm thinking he's 9 under right now.
He is.
So a little timid of the double digits right now.
Yeah, but I think you can work with 9, so he's not too worried about that.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, so Chris, 7 under is looking really good right now, but you've got hole 16 left. What are you thinking coming into hole 16 at the score that you're at?
Actually, during my rounds, I don't keep up with where I'm at. I just play the course, and if I do check, it's toward the end of the round, maybe like 17 or 18.
That's a great answer. So you're trying to execute the shot.
Yeah, just go into the hole, the same way as any other day.
Yep, that's what we're all trying to do here. We're all trying to hit this very small field goal and then get down into the kind of almost ravine, just letting our stable disc hook up and get near the basket.
Yeah, you want a very straight disc to crest the hill, and as it's going down, you don't want a hard fade at the end. You just want a gentle fade to the left.
Gentle but consistent, because there's OB right.
There's that fairway, just a little on the right side. I think that was going to be parked.
Not a bad spot, though, for him. This hole is easily sometimes turning into a bogey for a lot of people.
We forgot to mention that there is a left gap. It's a lot smaller, but it is there.
Yeah, the really dialed sidearm players and lefty players will sometimes attempt that, but it is much smaller, and I always find myself in that gap whenever I hit a tree and kick over there, which happens quite often. So I will be going down the left gap, usually on my second shot sometimes.
Nate, with an awkward footing, not being able to throw a backhand, throws a turnover sidearm to just outside the circle.
Pretty good shot. Not perfect. He's got some work to do, but flicking a putter is a difficult skill.
It is, and especially throwing a right-handed backhand shot with a right-handed forehand.
Yes, so true.
Drew from a knee.
So was that Drew's par putt right there?
Yes, that was for par.
Okay, so Drew is actually going to have to bite a bogey right here on the 16th. And a great putt from Nate right there.
Yeah, saving par with that putt.
But I'd have to say that Drew is definitely a little bit at unease right now, just because he knows he can't be taking bogeys. He just needs to par out, and he'd be okay. But I don't know if he's checking the scores right now. I don't know if he would be comfortable with his 8 under. I would imagine that he's really thinking he needs this next birdie on hole 17.
Yeah, going into this hole at 9 under, I bet he was feeling pretty good. But, with that bogey, I think he's going to be checking the scores and hoping to get at least 1, maybe 2 more birdies.
Yeah, I think you're right.
17 being another technical par 4. You want to throw dead straight with a little bit of finish at the end, maybe 320 feet or so, just to set up a second shot. If you go a little long or a little short, you may be pinched off and not have very much of an upshot, or you may have to get creative.
Right. This is a hole where you have to be in the landing zone, otherwise it's going to be very hard to get a birdie. So Chris showing us the exact line that you want to play here around all the trees that you need to be around, and just maybe 10 or 15 feet short of perfect.
Yeah, I'm a little on the early side, but I do still have the gap.
That's all you could want. Philo's looking for that flare. He's powering down on a fast disc again. I'm really jealous of that skill. I think I'm actually going to be practicing it in the off season.
Yeah, he got a really good skip there. It sets him up right in the middle of the fairway.
Yes, sir, from Nate. That is it. That's the ideal tee shot.
Taking the same line as Philo. Drew also going fairway.
Oh, that looked like a distance driver from Drew.
It could have been.
I want to say he just blasted a destroyer up there.
It definitely was coming in a little on the fast side, and it got a very straight skip.
Yeah, you had a great line there. Playing just a simple, for you, I should say, a simple hyzer putter shot. I think a little bit unfortunate on the ground play, but nothing too crazy.
Philo doing the same, just going a little straighter. It's a good shot, the other side of the basket.
That's what you want to do. Is either side of the basket higher than the other? Have you noticed?
You know, the left side may be a little lower than the right, but it's not by very much at all.
Yeah, it's not super noticeable, but the basket is obviously elevated.
Yes, it sits on top of a rock, and the rock is on top of a little mound.
Right. So, Drew, this is what happens whenever you go a little bit long on your tee shot. You have to get creative. There's no clear line for you. And he almost landed on the rock. Man, what a shot.
Takes a skip, landing on top of the rock and just sliding off the backside. And that's one thing you'll see with this green. There is the opportunity, if you hit metal and you don't make your putt, there is the opportunity for rollaways.
Yeah, the disc could easily roll anywhere from 15 to 45 feet away. Great putt. I know you're really wanting that one too.
Yeah, like we said earlier, with this format, you have an idea of what people are doing, but you definitely need to finish out with as many birdies as you can get.
Yeah, you would love to have a security blanket of birdies on you so that there's no stress when you are watching these people finish.
Mm-hmm. And Drew getting back to 9 under.
Big birdie from Drew. That's a great way to get right back on track, and he can almost just relax and throw down the fairway on this last hole. I don't think there's too much for him to worry about. I would imagine that the top card at this point has, I don't know, maybe they'd be on about hole 14 or something, so they have a very tough stretch of holes left.
Yeah, so we were looking back, not really on this hole, but after a round, and they were about hole 14. There were some pretty good-looking scores, but like you said, they've got a tough stretch to go through.
Exactly. Hole 18, 486 feet. Nothing really in the way except we've got to get the disc to fly that far somehow, so we've got to use airspace. Just as Chris is showing us, even though he roped that thing. Oh my goodness. Stop. What in the world? That's a fairway, right?
Yes, that's an F1.
Dude, 486, tiny bit of downhill. I assume you're playing some sort of like slight tailwind maybe?
Maybe there wasn't very much wind, but I think if there was on this hole, it was more than likely a tailwind. It definitely wasn't a headwind.
Right. Just an incredible shot. Good shot from Philo too. That's pretty average, I would say. Let's see how aggressive Drew's going to get. What disc is that?
I'm not sure. I wanted to say Destroyer, but the way it flipped and the distance that it got, I think it was a fairway. He may have went Leopard 3.
I would assume fairway as well, which I like that play. Nate getting full flex here. Let's see how far his sidearm goes. Ooh, big
Inside circle
sidearm.
too.
Yeah. That was like 430.
And I think Drew may have misread the wind there.
That is not exactly how he's going to be wanting to finish the round, but I do imagine he can knock that one down. He just has to concentrate for a little bit more than he might have wanted.
Just takes one more putt.
Yep.
And that's a great way to end your round.
End your round and your season with a smile on the face. I like it. Drew to secure 9 under par.
And he makes it. Like I said earlier, I didn't think there were very much wind, but you could see those banners flapping a little bit in the background of that putt.
Yeah, it was definitely present.
And I'm very glad I didn't have to make a putt on this.
Yeah, you were slam dunking this one, dude. And this is for
9 under.
9 under par. You're going to tie Drew Gibson and guarantee yourself a spot in the Final Four. So this was a lot of fun to watch. Drew Gibson and yourself both going to be in the Final Four. Unfortunately, Nate Perkins and Philo are not going to be. The cut line ended up being at 7 under par. So tour points were crucial for this one. Luckily, the tour points came in my favor and Calvin Heimberg's favor. There's your top 4 for the Disc Golf Pro Tour Final. On the bubble, we have Alex Russell, Michael Johansson, and more names. Thank you guys for watching. Chris Dickerson and Kevin Jones signing out.